On to some company news now, and Wescoal reported an interim revenue increase of 32.5% in revenue. Now, company chief executive Boje joins us now to unpack the positive numbers. Andre, looking at your revenue line, gross profit, operating profit, all of them are ticked up. Must have been a good year for you guys.
It's been a good 6-month period. Not where we want to be yet. We're still a long way to go. There's a lot of improvement that we can still make on that. If you look at the results from our trading division, I don't want to focus on the negatives, but that wasn't so good, you know. So we've taken steps to try and turn that around. But yeah, we're very happy with it.
Also, the inclusion of the interim colliery also increased the numbers. I understand the performance of your numbers because of those results there. How are you hoping that the interim in the long term might contribute positively to your operations?
Interim is not a long-term mine. It's got a 2-year life of mine currently. We're talking to next door neighbours where it could become a 4-year life of mine. But this year's numbers are a direct result of the impact of Interbani with its low cost base, low strip ratios. But our future project called Elandspreid, which we're hoping to have on stream the end of next year, is a mirror image of Interbani, and that's a 15-year project. So our longer term comes out of Elandspreid rather than Interbani.
Market likes these numbers. Share price up 7% today. You've doubled in price in the last 6 months. And I guess the strategy is, as the majors start offloading these coal assets, you'll pick them up and make more money.
Absolutely. I said it at this morning's presentation. We're talking to them. The majors are doing away with any non-tier 1 asset. So it's right in line with what the juniors are looking for. Problem for some of the juniors is raising capital to acquire these assets, but we fortunately do have access to capital.
Yeah, and with these kind of numbers, who needs capital? Yeah. As Gugu was saying, 66% jump in headline earnings per share.
Yes.
You're turning them to account quickly.
Yes, we are. We're generating some nice cash. We must remember that the 66% comes off a low base. We went through a bad period a couple of years ago. But we're comfortable where the share price is. We think it's reasonably valued, and we have room for improvement. Definitely room for improvement.
You said that Investec have given you a 180 million rand debt facility.
Yes.
What do you pay them as a raising fee or something, given that junior miners are struggling so to raise capital for that kind of facility?
We believe we pay them a fair raising fee.
What?
It's just in excess of R1 million. So it's not really...
It's not huge.
Not huge. And the interest rate, they've given us a very favourable interest rate. And a lot of that is revolving credit facility rather than a fixed term credit facility. 79 million is a fixed term facility, whereas 100 is more revolving credit facility. So, yeah, what we're pleased about is the confidence they've shown in us.
So as you've mentioned future acquisitions there in the pipeline and bulking up your asset base, any that you've identified at the moment?
Well, you know, we announced the McPhail acquisition a short while ago. We're just waiting for Competition Commission approval on that, which is the last outstanding CP. So we're focusing on the integration of that, synergy savings, customer retention, and there are brownfields operations available. Definitely there are brownfields available. And we're talking to them, yes. They've identified.
So you picked up Elandspreid from Glencore Xstrata.
Yes.
Which other majors are divesting?
Currently Exxaro, Glencore Xstrata worldwide are looking at all their assets across the board, not just coal assets. So we're expecting something to come out of that. And Billiton are looking at disposing of assets. So it's quite positive.
So the cycle's actually turned in your favour.
Yes. You must understand, part of it is driven by the export price of coal. Some of the mines are dedicated to export price of coal. They're too small for a company, a large industrial user, to turn it around. They're focusing on export. Export price has been low, $72. It's spiked currently to about $85, but it doesn't make money for them. Whereas it can be given to a junior or sold on to a junior who can make money out of it by focusing on a different marketplace, be it Eskom, be it the domestic market, or being sub-spec coal exports as well.
You've given us all the good news. Something that is a challenge, or has to be a challenge, the coal sector has a huge involvement of the AMCU union, the hardliners. How are they going to affect your performance going ahead?
Right. For us, there is no effect because we haven't got AMCU on our mine at the moment. And basically all our processes are subcontracted. So, and we have duplicate contractors on our mines. So if one contractor goes out on strike, we'll have another contractor to take their place. Ourselves, we identified that potential problem, so we have subcontracted all our processes.
Just on the mining indaba, the junior mining indaba that took place last week, I know Alec was in attendance, a lot of other chief executives were there. I'm not too certain if you were there, but if you were, what were some of the takeaway points that you were?
Well, I wasn't. I was actually, unfortunately, I was in Europe at the time. So I think the focus of the mining industry at the moment is the amendments to the MRPDA. That is this elephant in the room with everybody. Mark Kutufani said it over the weekend. There's a trust, I forget the word he used, between government and
deficit.
ourselves.
Trust deficit. That's the new word.
Yeah, trust deficit, and that is fact. We need to address the issues in the MRPD, and we need to address environmental issues. Environmentally, I mean, the Shell representative turned around and said coal generates carbon, and it does generate carbon, but coal is still the most economical form of power in the world, and it's going to remain so. So we need to address the environmental issues and work with government to resolve those issues. Clean coal technology, carbon capture and storage, we need to look at that, because if you look at fracking in the United States, what it's done to that economy, it's reduced power prices down to the lowest. So they've got to look at that, and they've got to look at coal as well. At the same time, how do we make clean coal? There are technologies available, but it needs investment. Where's this investment coming from? That's the key question at the moment.
Well, Andre, I can see that you're pretty optimistic about the future. I think when you heard Jan Willem, and it's only going to be 3 years before they start drilling exploration wells,
yes.
You can relax. Certainly if your coal's not very long term, as it seems to be for the moment. So, and I guess your shareholders are also quite happy. Investec happy. They're giving you 180 million. So you're in the right place at the right time.
If you just look at the fracking situation, we regard it, we also look at the country, you know, and the American situation, you must remember they got oil shale. So they extract oil. So this gas comes at no cost to them. So in South Africa, that's not necessarily the case. We like to see fracking because they can work hand in hand with the coal, it's all in energy. So we don't see that as a threat, we see it as an opportunity in the country.